So do you remember how at the end of 2016, pretty much every single video on YouTube had to start with, wow, what a dramatic year that was. Politics, celebrity deaths. I kind of feel the same way about every single video that's going to be uploaded onto YouTube in the month of March 2020, because every single video is going to start with, oh, blimey, it's all a bit scary at the moment, isn't it? Coronavirus. Oh, gee. And though I am well aware that I have just contributed to that myself, I'm now going to try and redeem myself by inviting you to grab a cup of tea and come and sit and have a chat. I think we could all do with a little bit of a cup of tea and a sit down and relax. Oh, and if you've got any biscuits, bring them as well. Hello, people of the internet. Welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? I'm well aware that's a bit of a thorny question at the moment. Least of all for me. Since about last Wednesday through to the Monday of the week I'm recording this, so about 5 or 6 days solid, I was completely overwhelmed with consistent anxiety to a level that I'd never experienced in my life. I've had anxiety and anxiety attacks and even panic attacks before in my life, and they're all very scary. But just a persistent level of every single moment I was awake, I was just on edge. Because last Wednesday was when things really started to get postponed and cancelled. That was when all the kind of consequences and the countermeasures against the coronavirus outbreak really started to ramp up in this country here in the UK. I don't know, it just overwhelmed me. It was very spooky. And then thankfully a couple of days ago on the Monday of this week, I finally started to ease and stop feeling so overwhelmed with anxiety and fear and panic and everything's bad, oh my god, like to the point where, I'm not joking you, like this part of my hands would start feeling like there was actually things crawling on it. It actually felt like my skin was crawling with like the virus, and I was like, oh, I can't touch anything. But thankfully from Monday onwards this week, things have started to ease just a little bit, and I'm kind of adjusting and gradually feeling a little bit better again, which is good. Especially means it's a good time to be feeling like that when I'm due to film a video for you, which I wanted to do anyway. I basically just wanted to update you on the plans for the channel and how things have changed in light of current events, and basically just give you a little, I don't know, not so much advice. I don't want to be here being all like, I know the exact answer on how to deal with a situation that we've literally never experienced to this level in our lives ever. We're in unprecedented times, so it's a bit strange, but hopefully sit down, bring a cup of tea, remember those biscuits, and we'll get through it. We'll be all right. Now let's start with updates to what's going to be happening here on the channel and the current status of Another Station, Another Mile. And the current status of it is it's not happening for the moment. Consider season 2 finished, wrapped up at 6 episodes. It was originally going to be 12 when I first planned it, and then it came down to 8, and now it's going to end up finishing at 6, which is, to be honest, it has kind of felt a little bit like the difficult second album at times, coming off the back of season 1 doing so well, and then going into doing season 2 at a time of year where I struggle to function and be super productive anyway, and also realising more and more ambitious ideas about the production and the editing and everything else I wanted to do on the channel. You may have noticed the average length of the episodes in season 2 have been way longer. I've been surprised how much longer they've come out on average. It was always going to be ambitious, and then other things started to happen which really started to affect the shooting schedule and everything. For example, the day after filming at the East Lancashire Railway was when the first of all those storms started hitting, and then another storm hit, which meant I couldn't film another episode I had planned, and then something else cancelled. And then probably the peak of all this kind of misfortune was when I was going out to film this big sort of multi-part episode, which hopefully I'll get to finally do in the summer. But I was literally sitting on the first train, the train that would form the first part of this epic film, and the train was cancelled on the spot because there was an incident on the line, cancelled almost all the trains, and it was at that moment I'm like, this is... But hey, what can you do? Chance happens. And that's why there was that break of quite a few weeks between episodes. Then I managed to do the Weymouth Harbour Tramway episode. Current events being as they are, I'm going to have to be realistic. You're either going to be waiting until the summer for the final 2 episodes of season 2, at which point I was planning to start putting out season 3. I planned that for around June, July to start putting those episodes out, but of course in the interim we don't know how long this is going to go for, if I'm going to be able to film in that time, whether that's on schedule. Just like most things at the moment, let's wait and see. But season 3 is still on the cards. I may make that that was planning to be back at 8 episodes. I might make that 10 to make up for the 2 cut off the end of season 2 for you. So as for what you will be seeing on this channel, now that's where things get a little bit interesting, isn't it? Because we are now in a period of, it basically depends on what I can film right here. So I was already thinking, well, I'm gonna need to, you know, have stuff to put out and videos that I want to make in between Another Station, Another Mile episodes, and almost all of them are stuff that I can do right here, including more Cup of Tea with Me style vlogs like this that I do really enjoy doing. You can expect to see more of those. I have some topics lined up that I'd like to chat about with you, and you know me, we're not running out of tea anytime soon. That I can tell you for a fact. And one thing you may finally be seeing very soon, because I might finally start to make some progress on it, are model railway vlogs. You know how it is if you've ever had some sort of project on the side, like a novel you want to work on, model railway, miniatures, you know, whatever it is. Real life gets in the way and it's very easy to push them to the back, and then you're like, when did you say you'd start building that model railway? 5 years ago? Now we're at that point, I'm like, well, okay, I'm very lucky in the position I am that I work freelance, I can work from home anyway, so I'm very thankful, very grateful that that doesn't affect me too much, I can get around that. But with more time inside than normal, I will finally be able to make a start on my model railway, hopefully. I have all the rolling stock, I have locomotives, I have model locomotives, coaches, everything, track, you know, all the tools and everything, and I can't wait to start bringing that to you in what I'm giving the working title of The Small Train Chronicles. Now, let's talk about streaming, shall we? I already mentioned that I wanted to go all in on streaming this year. I wanted to really ramp up my streaming schedule and everything this year. I wanted to nail down a consistent schedule and just stream more often and more regularly. In lieu of the current situation, streaming is kind of something I'm going to have more time to do. So yes, there's another thing you can expect more from me, more Twitch streaming. And if you haven't followed me on Twitch yet, there is a link down in the description there as well to follow me over there as well. There is also now, I got round to setting this up last night, a Discord server for AJCantFail. For me, it is called The Pub on Platform 1. I figure that was appropriately on brand. Totally not inspired by the pub on Platform 1 of Bury Bolton Street at the East Lancashire Railway that I frequented a little bit while I was there. But we do have a dedicated Discord server. You're more than welcome to, I think the invite link or the link to join will also be in my description. Hopefully I've got that working all right. If you're a regular viewer around here, regular follower, just want somewhere nice to hang out and natter about music and trains and books and trains and stuff, then feel free to join. I think we need all the kind of nice, kind of comforting places to spend time with other humans, even if we can't do so in person right about now. And that kind of segues me onto the last part of this video that I just wanted to, I don't know, not give any advice, but just sort of give a little reassurance based on my own experience of the situation, kind of where I'm at. I obviously said earlier in the video that I was really struggling. It really seemed to come on around Wednesday. Since then, it just was so overwhelming and so consistent. It was relentless. It wouldn't go away. Where I'm at the moment is basically to kind of think, well, okay, clearly trying to keep up with the news or trying to read about and keep up with social media, I don't like, you know, endlessly scrolling through timelines as it stands. I know that doing that on Twitter is already bad for my mental health and bad for my productivity in general, let alone at this point where goodness me. Couple that with the fact that at the moment, outside of guidelines, outside of the stuff that we do know about coronavirus, there's so much that we still don't know. There's a lot of unknowns. Like I said earlier, we're in unprecedented times. Trying to focus on all that and stuff that you can't control, especially for me, is just, that's a recipe for bad brain stuff. That's not good. So what I did the other day to really kind of settle down again was basically say, okay, aside from what I really need to know, which is the current kind of World Health Organization guidelines, which basically boils down to, you know, no unnecessary trips out, no unnecessary mingling with big crowds of other people. For crying out loud, Janice, can you stop knocking over the old grannies in the supermarket to get the last bunch of toilet roll, you selfish pillock? I don't think the World Health Organization actually lists that as official advice on their website, but trust me, they should. Oh, and one more thing, oh, that's it, wash your hands. Wash your hands a lot. That's what I'm treating as what I need to know. What do I need to do right now? What is the most helpful thing? Okay, great. I've got that. Do I need to know everything else? Is it possible to know everything else? When we're still learning so much and when we are in such a chaotic situation, is it even possible to try and figure out everything else? No. So why allow myself to just be overwhelmed with such a information overload? Instead of that, I thought, right, well, we know the situation now. kind of come back to the present rather than trying to predict the future, because no one knows where that's going. Where I'm at right now is, okay, we know all of that. We know how the current, what the current situation is. We know what we now can't do. These plans that we were going to do, they're all out the window. We know that we can't, you know, go out as much or do these certain things or visit people in person. So what do we do instead? If I can't go out and do another station, another mile, what videos do I make instead? How can I still interact with friends of mine? And one thing that is nice about social media in times like these, and I feel like it's very easy to lose sight of this, especially when you've just been bombarded with stories of Karen down Lidl shoving people out of the way for toilet roll and nonsense like that. Then you see stories like, you know, people setting up groups or encouraging people to use Skype or FaceTime or whatever to stay in touch with people, arranging virtual coffee dates and things like that. Or seeing a Twitter thread that I saw the other day which focused on sharing posts from various independent bookshops in London and sharing them out and letting people know that they're active. So, you know, all these different bookshops are doing things like, I don't know, you can tweet them and be like, oh, my favourite book is this. And they'll go, oh, well, we can recommend you, you know, if you like that, you'll like this. We can deliver it to you. And kind of signal boosting all that, getting these kind of little community initiatives going. That's the sort of cool stuff that makes you go, okay, maybe I haven't completely lost faith in humanity yet. That's the kind of attitude I'm trying to take now, trying to do as best I can, just trying to make the best of the current situation. Now that I know what the situation is, don't fill it up with more unknowns that I can't control. Just focus on things I can do, things I can contribute, and things, just make the best of where we are. That's kind of where I'm at now, and I hope you're in a similar spot too. I hope you're doing all right. I really hope, you know, if you're in one of these situations where you're, you know, in a job where you can't work from home, or you're worried about money and everything, I hope, really hope things work out okay for you. I hope you're doing well. I think we just all need a bit of a cheer, a bit of a nice cup of tea, and a little sit down. We'll be all right. As that famous poster said, keep calm and carry on. A poster that I found out, by the way, wasn't actually widely circulated during World War II. It was made for World War II and the Blitz and everything. And I found out when I looked this up a few weeks back that it was actually discovered in a backlot of someone's shed in like 2000. And that's when it became like a big pop culture icon, and it became such a big meme and everything else. And it was on all these tourism t-shirts and everything. So there you go. That old World War II slogan wasn't actually that widely used in World War II. I'm going to finish my tea. I've got plenty to be cracking on with now, which makes me very happy, because I'd much rather be sort of bustling around, being productive and getting on with creative projects and things like that, rather than just sitting around in the fetal position, terrified of even looking at my own hands. I'm going to finish this tea, and I will see you all very soon.